Elysia, a New Yorker, was walking home from work as usual in mid-October when she suddenly heard a thin meow. The sound came out of nowhere, and she didn't immediately realize it was coming from a narrow gap under a heavy metal gate. When she looked closely, she saw a thin, light ginger cat's paw in the gap, which disappeared immediately. When Elysia squatted down and leaned down hard, she saw a dirty, skinny kitten deep inside the gap. Since the cat didn't want to come out, Elysia decided to lure him out with a can of food. She went to the nearest store and bought cat food. She also asked people there if they knew anything about the kitten. They told her that the kitten had been sitting in that crevice for at least a few weeks and only peeks out of it a little bit, but does not come out completely because he is very much afraid of people. Neighbors have tried to feed him, but he only eats food when all the people leave. When Elysia opened the jar of cat food and beckoned to the kitten, he poked his head out just a little and sniffed. I sat there for about an hour, but he never came out. When I finally got cold, I left, but I really didn't want to leave that kitty there, the woman says. Elysia left a can of food by the crevice, but decided to come back the next day. I was so worried about him, like he was already my cat. It was sad to think that I was sitting at home in the warmth, and he was now hiding like that in this cold crevice. The next day, Elysia went to that spot again and made sure the kitten was still sitting there. She came up with a new plan to get him out of there. I offered him the can of food again, and this time I set it up so that when he stuck his face out, I could grab him and then pull him out whole. I got lucky, and when he started to eat, I grabbed him. He wriggled and lashed out, but I was stronger. When Elysia started stroking him and held him against her chest, he calmed down and even started purring. Then the woman put it in the carrier she had brought and carried it to her home. Elysia gave the kitten the name Ying, and when she let him out in her house, the cat immediately laid down near the heater and started to warm up. The next day, Elysia carried Ying to the vet, and it turned out that despite the weeks spent under the gate, the cat was in pretty good condition. The vet cleaned his ears and gave him all the necessary vaccinations. He is always circling around me, rubbing against my legs, and loves to sit in my arms. I think he has accepted me as his mom, says the woman. Since then, Ying has been living in Elysia's home and enjoying the warmth, nourishment, and comfort.